Okay, so we're going to practice graphing in slope-intercept form. So hopefully you have this page from last week that I handed out before you left. And we're going to do this as an ed puzzle. I don't know if this ed puzzle will work. If not, just watch it on YouTube. So anyways, just remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, and m is your slope. Of course, that means b is your y-intercept. So if you watched from Monday, I think you will remember that this is where the y-intercept is where you start, and your slope is how you go. I think that was math by 5, if I did that right. So let's go through these 8 examples, 4 in the front, 4 in the back. The first 6 examples are going to be all in slope-intercept form, so they'll all be rated graph just like that. The last 2 are going to be in standard. We're going to have to isolate the y or solve for the y variable, and then we'll be able to graph it so nicely. So let's start relatively easy. So the first example, copy this down with me, is going to be, the equation is going to be y equals 2x minus 5. Okay, so when I graph these, I always like to identify my slope and my y-intercept. So the slope here is 2, and the y-intercept is -5. Take a moment and pause the video, or the ed puzzle will pause, and graph this the best you can. If you did it right, you would have a y-intercept here at -5. Okay. Now I wonder if you figured this part out. So slope is written as a fraction 2/1. So that means you're going to follow this positive slope. So you're going to go up 2/1. And I like to make as many, so as these examples are going forward, especially these graphs are quite large, I like to make as many points as I can with that staircase slope, up 2/1. So now I'm going to go down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1. So I can connect the dots to make my line. All right, try to make it as straight as I can, like that. So that's your first one. Number 2, let's try another one. So this time I'm going to give you a fractional slope. So let's try y equals, oh, sorry, wait, I'm looking at the wrong page. My bad, I'm copying down some equations I already had. So yeah, 1/4 x minus 5. So figure out your m, figure out your b, and then graph it. Okay, if you did that right, hopefully you realize the slope was 1/4. Already in fraction form, so that's going to be easy to move with. And then my y-intercept is -5. So I'm going to go on my y-axis. My y-intercept is -5. That makes a lot of sense if that's the y-intercept, because if you make, and I think I said that in an earlier video, if you make x equal to 0 like we were doing in the intercept graphing, then y equals -5. So now with this slope, hopefully when you graph, you went up 1/4. Like I said, do that as, oops, my bad, up 1/4, up 1/4, and then you go down 1, left 4. I always go opposite to go in the other direction, down 1, left 4. So your line, if you did it correctly, should look like that. Okay, next one that you're going to try is number 3. So number 3, let's write this out as a equation that looks like this. So this is y equals x minus 1. Okay, so your m and your b. Now before you graph this one, let's think about this. What do you think the slope for this is? What is going to go there? What's the slope? Hopefully you said and assumed 1. How do you write 1 as a fraction? It's 1/1. Okay, so now pause the video and graph it. So hopefully you put your y-intercept at -1. So if you went here, you went to -1. Now this one, you're going to get a ton of pretty points because the slope's just up 1/1. So I'll draw as many as, it's actually not too bad, like that. And then in the opposite direction, it's down 1, left 1. Ton of pretty points, like that. And so that looks like that. So you know you did it right. It's a puff positive slope, y-intercept -1. Much easier to graph this way than making tables or even doing the intercept method. Next one, see what you can do. Let's do one similar, actually. So let's see if you can do something like this. Y equals -x plus 4. So m, b, go ahead and graph and pause the video. Okay, so hopefully you put m is -1/1, b is 4. So you start at 4, the y-intercept, and you go down 1, right 1. So it's a nice negative. I wonder if you went this direction. Plenty of pretty points like this. And that's your graph. Okay? All right, turn it over to the back. This one always seems to confuse people the first time they see it. What if I gave you one like this? Y equals -2/3 x. So the question is the m and the b, the y-intercept and the m. The m is pretty straightforward, -2/3. What do you think the b value is here? There's no plus anything. So what do you think it is? 0. So now go ahead and graph that. Start at 0, 0. That's your starting point. When there's nothing in the plus b or minus b section, you start at 0, 0. Now you go down 2/3, down 2/3. Nice negative slope. Up 2 left 3, up 2 left 3. Like that. And your straight line looks like that. Cool. That was a fun one. The last one, this one is just kind of standard. I won't help you too much with this one. Y equals -3x plus 4. M, B, and graph it. So hopefully you put -3 for your slope over 1, 4 for your B. Put a dot at 4. Now hopefully you followed the correct slope and you went down 3, right 1. So down 3, right 1, 2, 3, sorry. 1, 2, 3, right 1. Up 3, left 1, up 3, left 1. And draw your straight line. Okay. The last two graphing that we're going to do, I'm going to give them to you in standard form. Okay. So the first thing we're going to get here is, let's try this one. -8x minus 2y equals 32. Pause the video and see if you can put that in standard form. My hint is that you're going to want to add 8x to both sides first. All right, if you did that, did you get this? So you add 8x to both sides, plus 32. Sorry, I'll zoom in there so you see it. And then you, then you subtract, no, divide each side by -2. Hopefully this fits on the graph. You're left with y equals -4x, and then minus 16. Well, that is not good for us, because we do not have a -16 on this graph. All right, I'm going to do a little adjustment. Can we make this, sorry, we're going to make this 16. I can't redo this whole video. So make this 16. Now our y-intercept will be -8. This is still, oh, but this is good. I don't even think we did many that go off the graph like this. So now you're left with y equals -4x minus 8. So when you graph, no, this one will stay on the graph, right? Or will it? No. So watch what happens when you graph this one. So see if you can graph it, and then I'll show you the correct way to do it in just a second. Okay, so look how this one was different, I believe. So if you go here down to -8, your starting point, and your slope's -4/1. I should have made more like this that go off the graph. So check this out. You can't go down 4, right 1. So you really, sometimes I would tell people to do it anyways and just kind of see where roughly it would be. But that's off my graph. So now I'm going to do the opposite. and go up 4 left 1. Yeah, that is a little bit fancier than I thought it was going to be. You graph that one. Looks like that. So I'll have to remember to give you more examples like that. So the last one is another one you're going to have to put in standard form. Let's try negative x minus 0.5y equals 2.5. Okay, so we're going to solve for y. So pause the video and solve for y. Hopefully you added x to both sides. You got negative 0.5y equals x plus 2.5. And then from there, you probably divided everything by negative half. Okay, so I'm left with, this cancels out, I'm left with y. Well, this part I know is goes in minus 5. And then this is going to be, so wait a second, what am I thinking? First I was a little nervous. So how many, that's an assumed 1, and then half goes into 1 twice, so that's just negative 2x. I was freaking out for a second. Right? Yes. So that should be easy to graph. I'll pause the video again and graph it. M equals negative 2. B equals negative 5. Go ahead and graph it here. Negative 5 stays on the graph. Down to right 1. That's 2 over 1. And I have a little anxiety about this question, so I'm going to go on Desmos. Let's make sure I did this right here. So just to show it to you here, apologize, I don't know what I have here. So if I go to Desmos here, we're going to put in negative x minus 0.5 y equals 2.5. Here's my y-intercept at 0, negative 5. And then down 2 over 1 should bring me to 2, negative 7. Let's make sure that's down there at 2, negative 7. Yay. That is 2. Uh-oh, wait. 2, negative 9. Why is my slope different? And then the next one should be at, oh wait, 2, negative 9. My bad. I was looking at 1, 7. Sorry, I was freaking out for a second. 1, negative 7 is here. Okay, my bad. What a waste of video. So 1, negative 7, and then, yeah, 2, negative 9. I was like, what the heck did I do wrong? Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, 2, negative 9. So that is the correct graph. So hope this helped you practice graphing. We'll do much more when I see you next in person.